Yo everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you the brand new foundation by Dose of Colours, which is called the Meet Your Hue foundation. I've actually got two shades to show you guys because it was very difficult for me to figure out online what my shade was, but luckily for you guys, one of these does match me. Now, I ordered mine from Beauty Bay in the UK, where it retails at £27.50 and it contains a standard 30ml. Altogether there are 42 shades. I'm just reading from their website, which is great. The way that they have split the shades is they've split them in different ranges from fair to light, light medium, and then medium tan, then dark, and then deep. And each range has got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So each range has got between 6 or 7 shades. So hopefully there should be something for everybody. Now, it was very difficult for me to try to decide what shade I was, because a lot of the time, especially when companies come out with foundation ranges, I sit somewhere right on the cusp of light, medium and medium, and I had the same issue in this instance, which is why obviously, like I've said, I've ended up buying two foundations. Now, if you look on Dose of Colours website, they have tried to come up with a helpful chart, which unfortunately is so off, I cannot even begin to explain how off it is. I've said this in the past, for brands that try to use other brand comparisons to help with foundations, don't. Sometimes it's better if you don't do that, because it just makes it more confusing, especially when it ends up being completely wrong. Now, the first shade that I bought, which I've got here, is the shade 122 Medium Tan. That is the first shade in the medium tan range, and on their website it is described as warm yellow undertones, and then they've given an example as this being the same as NARS's Valencia shade and Too Faced Born This Way Warm Sand. And then the other one that I bought is 120, which is light medium, and that is described as MAC NC30 Hourglass Beige and Fenty 290. Note, these are comparable shades but not exact matches. Again, it was just not really helpful to me. I guess 120 probably is a little bit more comparable to somebody who's a MAC NC42, I would say. And 120 is comparable to somebody like me who's a MAC NC40. The problem I had is, whereas one was described as warm yellow undertones, the other one was described as warm undertones. So again, it's just very iffy. I will swatch both of them side by side on my face just so that you can see. Now, first off, let's just quickly talk about the box itself. It comes in a very nice, sleek box. Just for you guys to know, in terms of the brand Dose of Colours, they are actually one of my favourite brands. I have very rarely found a lot of their products to let me down. I love their liquid lipsticks. I've got some of their highlighters from the Desi KT collection. I've got one or two of their eyeshadows. I didn't really like them that much, but I did like their eyeshadow palettes that they've got, which are excellent. And this is what the foundation looks like. It comes in a glass bottle. It's very sleek, very sophisticated. It's got a pump on it, and the great thing about this pump is that it comes out in little bits. It's not like big squirts. You can actually really control the amount that you want, from a tiny little drop to a full-on massive blob. So I love this. I think that they have put in a lot of effort into this packaging, and I personally really appreciate it. Now, on the box it says high pigment, matte finish, buildable, lightweight, long wear, vegan, cruelty-free, talc-free, paraben-free, oil-free and fragrance-free. And we love things that are fragrance-free. I do, I know, because I've got allergies and even perfumes just set me off. Let me just read to you what their claims are. It says, meet your perfect hue with Dose of Colours, medium to full coverage, lightweight foundation, natural with a matte finish. Meet Your Hue foundation works to deliver a blurring effect, reducing the appearance of fine lines, blemishes and skin imperfections. The high pigment long wear foundation is available in 42 shades and a range of undertones. I agree with their claims 110%. I have to honestly say, this is probably one of the best foundations I have used this year. This has now grown into my holy grail collection. I have not been able to put this down ever since I bought it. The problem is that I bought the shade 122 first, and even though it was a bit dark for me, I really just wanted to buy the actual correct shade because I loved it so much. In the past, when I bought the wrong shade in a foundation, I haven't made the effort to go and actually buy a new one because I didn't really like the way that the foundation performed anyway. So I was like, what's the point in getting the correct shade if I don't actually like the foundation, if that makes sense. But this one, I loved it so much, so it was important for me to go out and get the right shade, which I then eventually did. Now before I start off the demo, just going to quickly read to you what my comments are. I've written, it is very decently pigmented like they've said, medium to full buildable coverage, nice soft blurred effect matte foundation, even coverage, oxidizes once dry very slightly, very easy to blend, good quality bottle with amazing pump, long wearing, after 12 hours still looked fresh with barely any shine. Do you know how important that is, considering I have worn this in all environments? I've written also that it doesn't cling to any dry patches or accentuate any pores or scars. It transfers very slightly, very lightweight feel on the face, not heavy, and a little bit goes a really long way. And also, like they've said, it reduces the appearance of fine lines, blemishes, skin imperfections, works to deliver a blurring effect, so it gives that soft focus effect on the face. Even though it's a matte foundation, it's still a very natural looking matte on the face. It doesn't look overly done, it doesn't look fake, it's just amazing. I give this a 10 out of 10. I absolutely love it. It's excellent. Right, let me just hold up these two foundations next to each other just in case you want to see what they look like from the bottle. So this one is 122 and this one is 120. You can see that this one is a little bit lighter and this one is a little bit deeper, but they've both got warm yellow undertones to them. So like I've said, if you are a MAC NC42, this would work well for you, and if you are a MAC NC40, this would work well for you as well. So let's first try 122 medium tan. So here you can see what that looks like. So you can see that it's got quite a lot of yellow in it. I wouldn't say that it's starting to lean towards orange, which is why I like this, in that if I was to get darker, it would work well for me. And now next to it, I will put the shade that does match me, which is 120 light medium. See, now you can see the very obvious color difference between the two. This one is almost starting to blend into my natural skin tone. As I've said to you, it does oxidize slightly, but bear in mind you're meant to match your neck and not your face. And this one, once it's blended out, because remember these are thick swatches, this is not how you would normally apply foundation, obviously. It does blend into my neck. My face and my neck are very different colors, especially because I exfoliate my face and whatnot. And my neck is actually a little bit more yellow than my face, which is really weird, but this blends into it nicely. But this is just how you can see the two differentiations in color. As it's starting to dry down, they are both starting to get slightly deeper as well, which is fine. Anyway, so I'm going to remove these now and then let's get on with the demo. I'm using the Too Faced Primed and Peachy Cooling Matte Skin Perfecting Primer. So it is a mattifying primer. In this kind of weather, with my combination skin, I really need it. Let's just take out the nose stud. Like you can see, shine is happening everywhere. This is sweat. This would definitely work well across the board on all skin tones and skin types. Whether you've got dry skin, whether you've got oily skin, whether you've got normal skin, combination skin, it will definitely work well on everybody. I've got combination skin, and if this manages to stay matte on my face from 12 to 14 hours, even if you've got oily skin, you will probably still get a very long amount of wear before it starts to look shiny on your face. Oh my god, this primer is actually mixing in with my sweat. That's gross, isn't it? Obviously, under normal circumstances, I would not be putting on my makeup in my baking hot garage. I'd be in my room in front of a fan. And I always do my eye makeup after my foundation. It's just because of the purposes of the video. And as you guys know by now, I'm come fresh out of the shower, freshly washed hair, and it's not styled yet. It's just been dried. So I look like a baby lion at the moment. Okay, so now that I have pressed that into my skin, it all feels matte. Don't need to really wait too long for it to settle in because of how hot it is in here. It's up to you whether or not you want to use a beauty blender or a brush. I always personally prefer to use a brush. I love medium to full and full coverage foundations. So for me, using a beauty blender, which gives a more sheerer coverage, is a bit pointless. So I would always use a brush. I'm using my Morphe M439 Deluxe Buffer Brush, which you guys are used to seeing me use. But any kind of foundation brush would do. And then all you need is probably one pump to cover one side of the face, which I will do first off. I'll just do one side so you can see how it compares before I cover the other side. Okay, so this is one side of my face which has been covered just with one layer. I did have to add a little bit extra because I hadn't actually put enough on my brush, because like I said, you can control the amount that comes out, and I tend to use it little by little rather than putting on too much. But it looks lovely, it looks great. It feels lovely. It feels slightly tacky at the moment, number one, because my temperature is so high. I'm sweaty and I'm sticky. But as you can see, it looks lovely. It looks flawless. It's a very even finish to it. It's got a slightly runnyish texture, but not too runny and not too thick. So nicely in the middle. So it's easy to apply. There's no patchiness or anything like that. And I think it looks absolutely lovely. Here you can see the other side of my face where I've got a bit of redness. I've got pigmentation. I've got scarring. I've got hyperpigmentation. I've got open pores and I've got textured skin as well. But here you can see how it looks so different. Okay, so here we are with one layer all over the face. It's really evened out my skin tone and I think it looks really lovely. But as it is a medium to full buildable coverage foundation, I of course need that little bit extra. As you guys have always seen in all my review videos, I always put a little bit of extra in my problem areas, which is this area here and sometimes my chin. I've been having random hormonal breakouts on my chin recently, so I need a little bit extra there, just a tiny bit, to even it all out and make it look a little bit smoother. And now I'm literally putting such a tiny amount you can barely see it. Look at that, see, like hardly anything. So you can really build this up, and it doesn't become patchy when you build it up either, because it doesn't dry immediately. So it is something you can work with, which is why I love this foundation. Some foundations, if you leave it too long before you layer another layer, it can become really patchy, but that doesn't happen with this because it doesn't dry as fast. But then on the flip side of that, it doesn't also take forever to dry because we ain't got time. All right, so that's all of it done. Here you can see how it blends into my neck as well. Nicely done. Oh my god, I'm so hot. I think I need to step outside this room for a minute just so I can get some real air. Otherwise, I swear this is just not going to dry on my face. It's going to stay sticky. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the rest of my face off camera, and then I'll be back just to show you how the completed look is. To set it, which I would always suggest doing, I'm going to be using my Nabla close-up smoothing pressed powder in the shade medium. This is a really nice powder that gives a nice blurring effect, which then obviously really well with this blurring foundation. It also helps in assisting keeping me matte all day and make sure that everything is set and looking lovely. Okay, I am back. I am sweaty, but as you can see, my foundation looks lovely. It looks smooth, it looks natural, it looks matte. It's holding up quite well. It's been about an hour since I did my makeup, went away, came back. I did use the Huda Beauty Resting Boss waterproof setting spray on top, just because, like I said, it is so hot today. So in order to maintain this makeup, I had to do what I had to do, which obviously is down to personal preference and depending on the environmental factors that are surrounding you when you use this foundation. Overall, like I said before, I give it a 10 out of 10. It's an excellent foundation. I absolutely love it. Color is perfect. As you can see, my shade 120 light medium works beautifully. It has slightly darkened, but again, that's fine. It works. It looks great. It looks natural. It feels absolutely lovely and soft and smooth. You would not know that I am sitting in a room where it is 33 degrees. Let's just put it like that. On my lips, for reference, I'm wearing MAC's Soar lip liner. Then I've mixed two lipsticks. It's the Urban Decay Back Talk Comfort Matte and then Too Faced Birthday Suit lipstick. I've mixed them together to create this beautiful mauvey pink shade, and that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, make sure you subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts are. Are you buying this? Have you already bought it? Are you considering buying it? Or after my video, are you definitely going to buy it? Let me know below. Other than that, I hope you guys are wonderful and great, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.